When you go to Texas State, there's never a shortage of things to do. From engineering and opera to esports and fencing, we have it all and more. Listen to our new podcast, Try at Texas State, to learn more with me, Giselle, about the kind of organizations and programs that make Texas State so special, and to take a deep dive into niche subjects that find its way into our everyday lives. Listen on Apple Music or Spotify, and episodes release every other Wednesday. Hi everybody, my name's Giselle and I'm the Digital Marketing Strategist here at Texas State University. You're listening to Office Hours and today we're talking to Eddie Sanchez and I'm here with my intern Sam. Sam, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah?
It's going good.
Yeah, awesome. So how was that conversation with you and Eddie? I know you guys know each other, but you got to learn some things that you didn't know about him, so.
I did. He's really went in depth to like his career and his journey and it's really remarkable. It's really cool stuff that he told me, but very exciting.
Cool. So what was like your biggest takeaway?
When he went into like how he was like rapping like at 3 or 4, it's just like a really cool, path that he took.
Definitely. It's definitely very unique for sure. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoy this conversation with Sam and Eddie.
Eddie, we're no strangers, but for the people who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself, your name, and what you teach here at Texas State University?
So thank you for having me, Sam. My name is Eddie Sanchez, and I'm a team member of the Division of Marketing and Communications, and I also teach US 1100 courses here at Texas State University.
All right, interesting. We always got to do an icebreaker. Who would you want to play you in a movie about your life?
Oh, man, that's a very good question. I've thought about this a little bit before. I don't even know what his name is. Wilmer Valderrama, yeah. I think he could play me well, and I think we have some similarities. I think we look somewhat similar. He's not super big. I'm not a big guy. I think he does have a mustache. I can't grow a mustache. So
it's okay. That's cool. That's a good one. That's a deep cut. I haven't heard of his name in a while.
I have thought about this for
okay. Wow. All right. So you teach here. You teach US 1100, but I want to start at the beginning of your journey. What was your first job? I want to know how your journey started as, just working.
So the very first actual job that I had was at Kmart. It was in college. I was 17 years old, and I was working as a cashier. I kind of had jobs like that throughout my college life. Worked at a lot of different stores. Worked on building houses for a summer. A lot of outside work. Worked at H-E-B, pushing carts and bagging groceries. So I had the chance to kind of go through that little roller coaster of those types of jobs, were kind of minimum wage. They're a little bit more hands-on, but honestly, some of those experiences that I had there, I look back at them with a certain fondness just because it's like, okay, I can appreciate now where I'm at. So my first professional job was working at Sylvan Learning Center down in the Rio Grande Valley, and that's really what got me interested in education and working in education. But I was a project manager there for about 7-8 years, and my responsibilities were wide and varied.
I want to know, so what college did you go to?
The school that I went to at the time was called University of Texas Pan American, so it was UTPA, but it's transitioned to UT RGV. So now it's UT Rio Grande Valley. I got my undergraduate and both my graduate degree there, and I studied English with a minor in history. That was my undergraduate, and then I went back a couple of years afterwards, maybe about 4 or 5 years after I had first graduated, and I worked on my graduate degree, and that was in literary studies.
So the college experience, what would you really label it as?
I got married very early. I was in college when I got married. I had my first child when I was in college. I was 20, I think, 21, something like that. A lot of my college career was basically working, going to school, and being a dad. So I didn't really get the opportunity to experience the extracurricular stuff. I just didn't really have time for all that. But at the same time, it was a good experience in that I got to meet people that are still my friends to this day. Talking with the faculty members, my teachers at the time, my professors at the time, a lot of them were very willing to help me, and they kind of understood my situation, and they helped to guide me through that. It wasn't the traditional path, but I got it done and I went back and got my graduate degree as a dad.
You went back for, you said, literary studies. I mean, I know you've been a writer for a while. You know, that's your thing. Why did you want to become a writer?
The reason I got into writing was because I've loved hip hop since I've been a baby. I have a tape, I think, of where I'm about 3 or 4. I'm rapping along to. There's a song called La Mentirosa from Melo Mayonnaise. For whatever reason, I was just always drawn to the words of the rappers. I think I wanted to be like the rappers, essentially, right? I wanted to write. I wanted to write rhymes. So I started off with writing rhymes, and then little by little, I would kind of start writing poetry. And then my brothers saw that I kind of had a little bit of a skill, so they would ask me to help them with their homework. And people at school would ask me to help them with their writing. So it was just little by little, I just kept going at it, and it became this thing, what it is now.
Wow, that's so awesome. You teach university seminar here at Texas State. When you were in college, as you just said, did you think that you were going to be a professor?
In all honesty, no, I didn't. But when I got out of college, I remember at the interview that I was having, the interviewer, she was like, well, where do you see yourself? And I think she must have said like 5 or 10 years. And I was like, you know what? I'd like to go back and try to get my graduate degree and potentially, teach at a college or university. My mind was I'll teach at a college, community college.
I mean, you when you first started teaching US 1100, what's something that you had to learn, or is there some things that you just had to pick up?
I'll be honest and say it's still a learning process, right? It's just like trying to learn as much as I can, and so that way I can be a better teacher every time I show up to class.
You're teaching freshmen exclusively. I mean, is there anything that you've learned from, teaching, a more younger crowd of the university?
I learned that they think Post Malone is the GOAT.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would have sent me insane. That would have,
that hurt me deeply when I heard that,
Yeah, you probably hear so many takes that are so out of line.
Yeah, like I said, I always have my little introductory class, and the first thing is like, look guys, I love hip hop, so y'all ever want to talk about hip hop,
Yeah, but don't slander it.
Yeah,
come on.
I'll further along in the semester, I always ask who do you guys like, and sometimes they'll throw out some names, and I'll be like, I don't know about that person, but yeah, that's something that I learned. That some of the students think Post Malone's GOAT, but no, honestly, this was something I was touching on earlier, that there's a commonality amongst all students, even though they might not see it, even though they might not realize it, even though they come from different parts of the state, of the nation, different neighborhoods, different cultural backgrounds. There's something that we can always all relate to. Even me being a little bit older than them, there's still experiences that I've had that I know that I can relate to them in, and that's something that I see, it's something that I've learned, and it's something that I see.
Is there anything that when you first started, or even now, is just things that kind of get you nervous, just anything that you're still a little not afraid of, but just more as a professor, teaching these students?
Oh yeah, man, the students just make me nervous in general, because they're always everyone always seems so cool and laid back, you know what I mean? And I'm here trying to make sure that I'm giving them the right information that they need, the right guidance, while also being, not gonna say entertaining, but engaging enough that they want to come to class and that they want to, learn from me. So it's kind of scary. Every class period, I'm always a little nervous, and it's kind of like a big game. It's kind of like a big, it's kind of like, you're about to play in the championship game every
tip-off.
Class. Yeah, it's like tip-off. You got the little bit of butterflies, and then
first quarter, second quarter,
and then you warm up,
halftime.
And then by the time you know it, the class is over, and you're like, oh man, I didn't even, I was just getting warmed up. But it's
Yeah, we managed to get a sports reference in there somehow. We somehow did. We told ourselves we weren't going to do that.
Yeah, so it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah. We talk about your teaching career, or just your career in general. There's a lot of moments that stick out. Is there ever something that I think you've been most proud about, something, or just something you hold up a little higher than the others?
I've had a chance to have some of my coworkers come in and talk to students about their experiences. Yeah. These are coworkers who are alums as well. So they come in and they talk about their experience to the students, and the students actually get super engaged with that. This last time, I think we had a couple of students that stayed back and were talking to the presenters. Like I said, it wasn't a thing for me or about me. It's something that I was proud of. It was really great, just really cool to see that the students were learning from from the presenters, and that again that they realize that there are people out there who have gone through the same things that they're going through, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just kind of building that hope. Look at these people; they've done it. You can do it too. And so it's cool just to see the students get engaged with that. And like, if I'm gonna have a proud moment, I say like that's always really cool to see. Like, even though I really have nothing to do with that besides bringing in the presenters,
I feel like you're doing your job. That's what you're there for. You just to help these people. Like, hey, this is what you can do. That's awesome. Let's go back in time, not too long. What would a college Eddie not believe about your life today?
I wrote out a script for a commercial that Texas State University filmed, and it played on ESPN, right? So I was like, this is so dope. So I recorded it and I sent it to all my friends. All my friends are like, this is the dopest thing in the world. Like, wow. You've done something. You know what I mean? And I've had some opportunities, especially here at the university, to create writing that has been, I got pieces that were published in Texas Monthly, even though, I've had some of my writing make its way into broader media. And so it's hard for me to sit back and say, like, yeah, at 20, I knew I was going to be doing that. I don't want to be overly confident, arrogant. I mean, definitely have that belief in yourself. Yeah. But it's hard for me to sit here and say, like, yeah, I saw all this, because the truth of the matter is, like, all I knew was I want to be a writer, continuing on. Hopefully I continue to reach more of the goals and milestones that I want to reach in life.
And finally, I have one question. I am a junior in college. You explain like all this experience that you have and all these things that you've done. Do you have any advice for me?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for you specifically, because I know that you're interested in getting into creative fields, always make sure that you're working on that creativity, because if you're not working on a project, if you're not working on ideas, somebody else is, right? Somebody else is grinding that out, and that's a part of the scary thing of the creative industry, and it's a part of the beautiful thing, right? Because if you put in that work, a lot of times it will come through, but also you have to put in that work, and whatever it is that you're trying to do with your career, especially now that you're still young, start putting in that time, start putting in that effort, because everything takes time. It's taken me a lifetime to get to where I'm at right now, to be able to say, oh yeah, I get paid to write. It's taken me all my life, literally, to get to this point. And so you never know how long it will take you, but if you're putting in that effort, you're putting in that time, you'll get that opportunity to shine. You just need to make sure that you're prepared for that moment. So I would say for sure, just keep grinding away at it and figuring out different ways to express yourself and to build your creativity and just, try to be the best Sam that you can be.
Will do. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Eddie, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, man. It was a blast just having a chance to talk with you and laugh.
Laugh fun too. All right. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you all so much for listening to Office Hours. My name is Sam, and we'll see you next time.